Hi guys. Okay, sorry. Trial number 2 here. So just so you know, you have apparently the only way you're getting people onto your live in terms of getting a partner on there is there we go. By doing it from your phone. So now you know something new. If you want to go ahead and have an interview on your Facebook Live, you can either use a third party. Yay! Okay, we got her. Or you have to do it on your phone. So you learn something new. The cool part is that this is exactly what we're talking about today. We're talking about adjusting to change and adjusting to these little things we call technology. So I'm really excited to have Missy with me. She is a wonderful friend of mine, and she's just a total boss. She is amazing at what she's doing. Hey, Greg. There's Missy. Yep. Hey, guys. Hey, George. Hey, Robert. Hi, everybody. Hey, Michael. All right, guys, so today we are talking about change, and we're talking about how to adjust to change. I'm going to real quick let Missy introduce herself so she knows, so you guys know exactly who she is. Missy, take it away.
Hey, Christina, we made it work. Here we are. Awesome, guys. Well, welcome for joining in. I'm really excited to be on this call with you tonight. And just a little background about me is my background is that I'm a former Division I college softball coach. And although I loved what I did and truly enjoyed the aspect of helping people and being in a competitive environment, I eventually transitioned after meeting a friend that worked in nutrition, and I ended up taking on the nutritional cleansing lifestyle, A, for my own healthy reasons, but B, for an opportunity to make money. So fast forward about 2.5 years, I have been doing this full time, and so now I coach people through a nutritional cleansing system, and I get to meet awesome people like Christina that I get to do these with. So welcome. Thanks for having me, Christina.
Absolutely. So Missy and I have these Wednesday morning calls that I absolutely always look forward to, and we get to catch up, but we also just get to find out how we can help each other out, what's going on in our lives, and just help each other be more productive. And one of the things that came up for both of us this past Wednesday was really adjusting to change. And one of my favorite quotes is that the only constant in life is change. And I felt like, man, we really have to talk to people about this, because especially the holiday season, even the families coming along, into your house, and there are a lot of changes going on. There are a lot of times favorable changes, and in my perspective, change is always favorable, but there's always an adjustment period, even if it's really fantastic change, right? So one of the things that I wanted for you guys to hear is how Missy, who just moved from Long Island, which is where we met, out to Minneapolis. There we go.
Minnesota.
Minneapolis. She's out there somewhere. So I wanted for you guys to hear how she adjusts, or how she has been adjusting to living out there closer to her family. So take it away.
Awesome. Christina, it's so cool because I did meet Christina when I was living out on Long Island, which is fun because that was change for me. I had grown up my whole life in the Midwest. I had only known Minnesota. And so when I first took my Division I coaching job out and met you, that was like, whoa, that was culture shock to me. That was a whole new way of living. And it was such an appreciation for a different group of people and a different way of life and the rat race hustle, which I'm very fond of and I loved. But then it also now, as she's mentioning that I'm back in Minneapolis, it was such a transition here because guess what? I'm back in the saddle for change again. And one of the things that I've really found for myself in coping and what I do to really, I say, kind of forge through that change is I embrace it. Whatever I can to not beat myself up, because I think I've spent most of my life beating myself up for who I am because I'm a human being that, what's wrong with me? Why am I not adjusted yet? Why is this so hard for me? Why am I struggling? Why do I feel like maybe I don't fit in quite like I thought I was going to? I think for me, what I do is I learn to let go of the expectations. So if you have expectations of it looking a certain way, I'm going to ask you, when in your life has anything ever looked exactly the way? Like you had those emotions, you had that experience, you had that feeling, and then all of a sudden that showed up in life. I don't know about you guys, but that's never happened to me. I've never, ever, ever had anything be the experience that I actually thought it was going to be. Yes, I like to manifest and think of okay, I want amazing things to come out of this scenario, but I don't know how that's going to look. So for me, it's about letting go of expectation, and then also seeing that with change, learning to embrace what really scares me. And I guess that's meeting, and it's my comfort zone. So expectation, letting it go, and then I would say facing change head on as like, if it scares me, it's awesome. What about you,
Yeah.
Christina? I just, you're like a go-getter. Same thing. I mean, you just moved to Miami. You're all over the place. What about you? What works for you in dealing with change?
Yeah, I feel like, exactly what you said in terms of really embracing it. And what it means to embrace is that I think a lot of times we feel like there's a destination. And like my whole life, I felt like, oh, one day I'm going to wake up and it's all going to be, it's like, it's all going to be okay. It's all going to be perfect. Exactly how I imagined it, right? And the thing is that the more I thought that, the less I missed the perfect things in my life at the time. Right. And they were more perfect than I could ever imagine them being. So really having no expectations. And to some people that means, I've realized, especially to me when I first heard it, it means like being, less ambitious. And that's not what it's about, right? It's not about not pushing yourself or anything like that, but it's not having an expectation of a specific outcome. Okay. So I'm really sorry this is shaky, but I'm connected to this little link here. So, but also, as I travel from Miami to New York, and I do that every couple of weeks, you would imagine that by now I'd be used to it, right? But every time that I am here, yes, Chris, no expectations, but every time I'm in Miami or every time I'm in New York, I always give myself a couple of days of an adjustment period, okay? The culture is different. The weather is different, which does affect us. I don't know what anybody says, the weather does affect us. And also, the people that are around us in those areas, it's also very different, right? So we want to make sure that we give ourselves that adjustment period for whatever change it is and really forgive ourselves. I feel like a lot of it starts with forgiveness and being able to just say, okay, you know what, it's okay that it's not exactly how I think it is in my head or how it should be in my head and so on. So I think that's a really important part. Do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I love everything you said. I mean, I think we're both on the same page about expectation. But the other thing is, I find that gratitude, when I can come from a place of being grateful and like you said, kind of seeing that like everything already is perfect. Like it's just the way it's supposed to be, which is amazing. I change kind of that, like I always say I wake up with like this angry human inside of me that's like, you're not good enough. And always saying like something's wrong, like something's wrong. That's the first question that always pops into my head in like every scenario of life. And maybe you can relate if you're watching this. So what I find that helps me before I even go to the gym, which is the first thing I do in the morning, I sit down and I write out at least 8 to 10 things that I'm grateful for. And I find that when I do that, it immediately takes that crazy human being out of my head and it puts something into perspective. So I always say you can't be angry and happy at the same time. You can't be angry and loving your life at the same time. So when you choose to see the gratitude in things, it's just like everything else kind of melts away. And you may have to do that constantly throughout your day, but I find for me that when I do, it just immediately replaces that feeling of angst or like I should be somewhere when there's really nowhere to get.
Yeah, totally. I do that same exercise with a friend of mine, actually. I share that, we kind of tell each other in the morning what we're grateful for. And it's just good in those times when you are just, like you said, you have that angry human being, right? But it's also just good to have it on a daily basis. Oops. All good? Okay, awesome. I don't know, I felt like I was lagging. But I wanted to just add to that for me, writing it out, just like, Missy was saying, actually writing it out puts it more into perspective and it kind of makes it more real as well. And, where you put your energy, meaning where you put your gratitude is exactly what's going to attract that. So really complaining isn't going to help because it's actually going to attract more of what you're complaining about. So you might as well focus on that gratitude, right? And actually writing it out and actively making that into a habit. Okay? So as the holidays come around, I know that there's going to be a lot of family stuff going on, a lot of chaos, a lot of, good chaos, but still chaos, right? So what I think I would really like for you to know during that time is that it's all okay, right? You are fine. You are fine just the way you are. Don't listen to Aunt Sally. You guys are all good. Somebody's got to have an Aunt Sally, you know? So you guys are all good. It's okay if you're married. It's okay if you're not married. Whatever it is, it's all good. And, you know, that you guys can always come to a safe place, and that safe place is right inside of you. It's right there always with you. And we are here to support you as well. So happy holidays. And Missy, do you have any holiday wishes for our audience?
Oh, I wish that this next year is filled full of intentions and that everything you do, you have something joy, whether it's being free, anything that you choose, just go create it, find a way, make it happen, and have a healthy and happy holiday season.
And one of the things, guys, that we are going to be doing with Missy is that we are going to be planning out a vision board workshop, which we'll be doing online, so everybody can join. You are in the nation or not. And the way that we do vision board workshops is very different than something that you've seen, or at least a little bit different. I feel like it's a lot more actionable than a lot of stuff that we have seen. At least it works for us. So even if you're doing vision boards already, hey, Brita, even if you're doing those vision board workshops already, you know, just try a new way of doing it. And I got to tell you guys, the way that we do it every quarter, at least I do it every quarter, and at the end of every quarter, guys, it's like magic. Okay, it always comes true. It doesn't mean that I just sit back and, you know, don't do anything, but it's like magic and it does come true. So if you would like to join in, make sure that you message either Missy or I, or you can comment now. It's going to be a totally free workshop. It's something that we're just going to be doing to share our intentions, share our ways, and help you guys start your 2018 in a fantastic way. So with that being said, Missy, thank you so much for taking the time out and being with us today. And guys, our audience, thank you so much for joining us. And make sure you kiss Brita for me, please. Have a good one, guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.